Right now, I'd like to turn the microphone over to the well-traveled, well-known Mr. Mark Laurie.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Tony. I appreciate that, Mr. Pareto. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome back. We're rolling. We're live across the World Wide Web. We also have just a few seats remaining in the audience. There is time for you to get down here and reserve a seat. But I know for those that are watching on the World Wide Web, I had the opportunity over the Christmas break to meet a woman who has never, ever missed a board meeting on tape. Miss Macri, I wanted to say hello to you. Mike's mom has not missed one meeting ever. So, Miss Macri, I want to say hello to you. And your son's doing an average to above average job. So,
Can I add to that real quick? Sweetheart, if you were watching, your gucciadottis were delicious. Thank you.
Only at a Niagara Falls. We have a Clarence board member here, by the way, who's observing us. We'll talk to her in a minute, but thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Most importantly, welcome back to our students and staff. We've had a really good week back, so the year 2026 is really going to be fantastic. I know it is. We had a great first week, and it'll continue to get better from here. We have a number of presentations this evening during your work session. We're going to go through them rather smartly and swiftly, and we'll end with an agenda review. There is no voting meeting this evening. That voting meeting will come in 2 weeks on the 22nd, and we'll make sure that we're certainly fully prepared for that. I wanted to begin with a group of students that I have had the opportunity to observe, and I apologize that we've pushed them to January because November was our Native American month, and this group of students so much impressed me from Niagara Falls High School in their presentation to our elementary schools. I had a chance to visit them when they presented at Cataract Elementary School and was super impressed. And they have also, we have also purchased for all of our schools, our elementary schools, native flags that I'm going to ask them to talk about. But I'd like to ask for their advisor, who is a excellent English teacher at Niagara Falls High School, and she's taken on the role of the Native American Club advisor, Miss Jessica Forget, to just come. Would you come forward and please just give us a brief introduction of what you've done with this group? And I also want to thank you for teaching the students in your club that it's important to be involved in civic activities. Which is, school is about what we're learning in the classroom, you know all that. But I think what I really want to thank you for, and I hope your students realize what a great job you've done as an advisor to get them involved in their beliefs and to express those beliefs in the community and for projects that they're passionate about. So thank you for spending that extra time and doing that. And you've been a great leader, and welcome. So what do we have?
So thank you. I want to say hello to everyone tonight. My name is Jessica Forget, and I brought just a small number of kiddos. Most of them are sick, but a small number of kiddos from Niagara Falls High School that are part of the club, and most of them have been part of it for a few years, three years. Okay, so almost the entirety of the program or the club after school, and they decided they thought it was very important because Niagara Falls High School in 2024, right? Yes, 2024 with Mr. Laurie's approval, we raised the Haudenosaunee flag for the month of November, just at Niagara Falls High School, and the students thought it would be amazing if we could do it at every school in Niagara Falls for the month of November. So they came up with the idea to make the presentation. They made the presentation and put it all together and introduced it and gave it to the elementary schools. So they are here today to give you the same exact presentation. Remember, this was for elementary school students, so it is kind of, elementary driven with the information. But I'll let them introduce themselves. Thank you.
And they had come on up, guys, Gales. They had the elementary students' rapt attention, and they had very good control of the class. So welcome. And please make sure you tell us who you are, too, and what year you're in.
I'll just say hi first. Hi, I'm Kobe Rickard. I'm an 11th grade student, and
Hi, I'm Madeline Jacob. I'm an 11th grade student.
Hi, I'm Jamie Rickard and I'm in 10th grade.
Hi, I'm Donovan Herbert, and I'm an 11th grader at Niagara Falls High School. We are here to talk to you about Native Heritage Month that is in every November, and the flag that is thrown in New York State for the 6 different nations in this area.
We started as an idea back in 2022 when Ms. Frigette thought it would be nice to connect Native kids but also educate non-Native students about Haudenosaunee culture. One of our first big accomplishments that we as a club are very proud of is advocating for the Native American Center for Living Arts, or more commonly known as the Turtle. This building has been standing vacant for almost 30 years. In the 80s and 90s, it was a popular venue that held socials, powwows, theater shows, and so much more that embraced and taught everyone about Native culture. We also held a social, which is a fun event where we eat corn soup, fry bread, and then perform traditional dances. This was one of the first times we as Native and non-Native students got to experience our culture outside of our families. We will be holding another social, well, didn't we already do that? No, in the spring. Oh, in the spring, yeah. Yeah, come along, okay.
read what? Slide 3? Yeah. Okay. Native American Heritage Month. It is celebrated every November. During November, we honor traditions, languages, and contributions of the Native American and Alaskan natives across the United States. By doing this, we are keeping the culture, the people, and the stories alive of all Indigenous people.
What are some parts of the Haudenosaunee culture? We've brought some small items to show you about the culture. First, this is sweetgrass. It smells good and it's used for medicine and ceremonies.
I have a mitten that is made out of deer hide and rabbit fur. The one thing that Native Americans do, which I've got to tell that I am not Native American, when they take from nature, they make sure to give back to nature. So if they take something, they make sure to treat it respectfully and use all of it and then give back to nature.
This is a corn husk doll, very festive one at that. It doesn't have a face. I will tell you why. Because one day this girl, she was looking into a lake and she saw herself and she thought, I am so pretty. I am way better than everybody else. So the creator, in return, took away her face to make her more humble and understand that everybody is equal and nobody is better than anybody else. Yeah.
Beaded bird. Here's an example of beadwork. It is a form of Native American art that is used among men and women, and it's just an important part of culture and art for our people. Oh, and here's a lacrosse stick. It's lacrosse is originally known as the creator's game, and has been a sport used for years and years and years, and is still modern and lacrosse.
Background of the Confederacy. The French have called us the Iroquois Confederacy, while the English have called us the League of Five Nations. However, the Confederacy is popularly called the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, meaning people of the Longhouse. The Confederacy was founded by the prophet known as the Peacemaker, with the help of a Mohawk man named Hiawatha. The exact date of the joining of the nations is known and is said to be ancient, making it one of the first and long-lasting democracies in the world. The Confederacy, made of the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, was intended on a way to unite the nations and create peace during decision makings. Through the Confederacy, each of the nations of the Haudenosaunee are united by one common goal: to live in harmony.
This is called the Hiawatha Belt. This is the flag that the Haudenosaunee use as their nation symbol. In the middle of the Hiawatha Belt is a great white pine tree, which many Haudenosaunee people call the Tree of Peace. It is also where the Onondaga Nation is placed as the fire keepers, where all the problems between the nations are talked about. The other Haudenosaunee nations are seen as squares on each side of the tree. On the far left are the Seneca, keepers of the western door. Next are the Cayuga, the people of the swamp. Onondaga in the middle. Then the Oneida, the people of the stone. And lastly are the Mohawks, guardians of the eastern door. The last nation to join the Confederacy were the Tuscarora, the Little Brothers, who joined after this belt was created. The Hiawatha Belt is not just a decoration, it's a reminder. It reminds everyone, both the leaders today and the leaders of the future, to keep the peace and stay united.
The Hiawatha Belt was originally made from white and purple wampum beads, which symbolize peace and unity between the nations. The beads come from a shell of sea animals like whelk and quahog clam, found in the Northwest. Indigenous people carefully shaped and strung the shells by hand. Wampum beads were used for stories, ceremonies, gifts, and trade. Beading is an important part of Indigenous art, history, and culture. The belt is a beautiful symbol of peace and togetherness.
Celebrating Native Heritage Month, we would like to take this time to ask you to acknowledge and learn more about the Native people in New York for not just the month of November, but every day. You might be thinking, how can I do that? Here are some ideas for you. One, you and your family can do research about the nations who are originally from around here, know whose land we all stand on. Two, learn about the turtle that is right here in Niagara Falls. That used to be a cultural gathering place for Native and non-Native Americans, which many of your elders, or well, you guys, like grandparents, aunts, uncles, and older family members may have been to or know about. You can even enter a multimedia contest to let us know what it would mean to have it reopened for everyone here in Niagara Falls. Mr. Jet has left flyers for your teachers to learn more about this awesome opportunity. We might still be in the elementary mode. 3, make corn soup. Corn soup is a Native American tradition that has been a staple for thousands of years. 4, learn indigenous phrase like nawe or skeno. Is that it? Skeno, which is in Cayuga. 5, show support for indigenous businesses like Tuscarora Woodworks by Niagara Field, where you can get handcrafted items made by many Haudenosaunee people. Slide 9.
We just want to say thank you to Mr. Laurie for inviting us to present in front of you guys. And Yahweh, thank you.
So you're welcome. I just wanted to make a couple of comments, and maybe if a board member has a question or not. First of all, we have a lot of good things in this district, but one of the best parts of this district, I've said it, it's what I appreciate both for my children that attended the district and for you, is that we are such a diverse group of students in a diverse city, and we have to learn to understand everyone and get along with everyone. I loved the words that you said: harmony, equality with the doll, peace, unity, and togetherness. That's what I heard when you made that presentation. And I think that if we think of those 5 words and we think what this city and this world needs, your presentation is a perfect statement about what we should all be thinking and doing. I really wanted to say thank you, or as I really want to say Naui, for coming to our elementary schools and meeting with the young students. I think you would agree that back in November, they really enjoyed it and had lots of questions about it. And you had an opportunity to show yourselves off as teachers. And I think the district is better because now each November, even though your point about we should think about this all year round, flying the Haudenosaunee flag makes us a better district. So I pledge, and I know in the future we'll continue to fly that flag proudly at all our flags under the American flag for Native American Month. So thank you. We're proud that you attend Niagara Falls High School. We're really thankful to Ms. Forget for the work that you've done and the extra time that you spent with these beautiful students and the ones that couldn't be here, and a young lady named Linda Captain who runs our program as well. Thank you for running our program in the elementary, Linda. You make our district better, and you make us all learn more about our cultures, which is a very important part of what we do in schools. Thank you. Naui, a question, Mr. Velardo?
No, I don't have a question. I just have a statement I want to make. Many years ago when I was in middle school, in seventh grade, we had Western New York history, and it dealt a lot with local history in Western New York and many of the Native American tribes around. So I think we lost a lot of that over the years.
I think you're right.
And it'd be a nice, Mr. McLaughlin was our teacher, a great guy. But anyway, and it concentrated on a lot of the Native American tribes, and which we're talking about the council and everything else. So it's nice to hear again, and doing a great job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I know you just went to the turtle. Did you just get inside to see it? No. All right, if you get a chance to do that, up in the ceiling, there's a special laid out glass template that were put in there when they constructed it, that when the sun came out, it glowed onto the floor with many of your Indian prayers and looks of it. It's gorgeous. It's a shame it's in there and nobody gets to see it.
I want to thank you for coming. I want to encourage you to keep advocating, to tell your friends, classmates to advocate, and to keep doing what you think is right in such a professional and conscientious way. So thank you for being students at Niagara Falls High School. Thank your parents for sending them, and we really appreciate you. Keep up the good work. I hope school's going all right for you. I know you're 11th and 10th graders, and I think we look forward to every month, but especially next November, and we'll fly that flag proudly. Thank you very much. Great job. Naui. Did I say that correctly? Naui. It's always really super nice to have students here, and it's what we're here for, to help make sure that we educate everyone. And I really appreciate the diversity that our district brings, and I think we need to continue to do a good job to celebrate it. Well, our next presentation, we have a special guest interloper spy from Clarence with us. No, she's not a spy. Tricia Andrews. Hi, Tricia. Tricia is here to represent the New York State School Boards. Tricia is your colleague board member. She is a school board member in Clarence. I believe she served 12 years. She has won 4 terms because they have 4 elections. They have 3-year terms in Clarence. You sit on a 7-person board in Clarence, as I know it, and you have an outstanding superintendent, Matt Frame. You're really lucky. He's a really good man, and he does a really good job and leads that district very well. And I wanted to introduce Tricia Andrews, who is here representing NSBA, and to make a special presentation on their behalf because NSBA picked out something that we have been doing proudly. And where is our friend Megan? You're going to come up in a minute. We've, as you know, and you've approved this and supported this, we have spent a lot of time and effort and work on trauma-informed care. We started with our teachers, and we have since morphed into doing having a student champion team which your board member, Harjat, is a very, very intricate part of. And the New York State School Board's picked up on the work that you've done, allowed us to do. And as you can see, we have a couple of other Champions of Change banners behind us. But the board is being honored by NSBA for your work in student mental health. And I think it's kind of interesting that when I listen to the governor and await her State of the State talk about more student mental health in her budget, hopefully money's behind that, by the way, that she's featuring that, but Niagara Falls has been doing that for many, many years. So welcome to our school board meeting.
Thank you for
Welcome to
having
Niagara
me.
Falls. We're glad you're here.
Before I start, I do want to say that was a great presentation, and I guess I'm dating myself because when I was a little girl, I actually went on field trips every year to the Turtle. So it's an amazing place. I'm sad that it's still not open now.
Right.
It was a really great place for kids to learn about culture. So I thought it was weird that I'm here and I went to that. So.
Well, we planned it that way, Tricia.
Yeah, I know, right?
So we are. We knew that. We did a little research on you and saw where you traveled.
Yeah.
And your husband is actually in the school business. Julie, her husband is the school business official in Star Point.
Yep.
So congratulations to him, too.
Thanks. So anyways, good evening. My name is Tricia Andrews. It is an honor to be here tonight representing the New York State School Boards Association's Award and Recognition Program. Currently, I'm serving my 12th year on the Clarence School District Board of Education, and tonight, on behalf of NSBA, President Sandy Rufo, and Executive Director Bob Schneider, I want to thank the Niagara Falls City School District for having me here to celebrate your incredible work. It is a privilege to stand before you to recognize the Niagara Falls City School District and its remarkable champion team with the NSBA Champion of Change Award. Tonight, we celebrate the very best in educational motivation, innovation, and community partnership. The New York State School Boards Association Champions of Change Award is reserved for those who have demonstrated extraordinary commitment, vision, and effort in transforming their schools and, by extension, the lives of their students and families. In a world filled with significant challenges, the mental health of our students has become a top priority. This district, in partnership with the University of Buffalo's Institute on Trauma and Trauma-Informed Care, has moved beyond the traditional education to empower students to address the invisible burdens their peers carry. Through this initiative, a diverse team of 15 to 20 high school students has been trained to recognize that trauma is not a single experience, but a complex reality that includes historical, racial, and institutional forms. These students, including leaders like Jaleesa Hernandez and Kadisha Tabazum, serve as the eyes and ears of their school, identifying when a peer is struggling and offering a path to help. They have mastered sophisticated psychological concepts such as the flip model, which describes how a shutdown reaction can lead to a flipped lid, where a person stops thinking logically and reacts from a place of survival rather than sympathy. As Hernandez noted, their mission is to prevent adversity from turning into lasting trauma. What truly makes these students champions of change is that their work does not stop at the school doors. They have taken their message to the Niagara Falls Housing Authority and have held one-on-one conversations with the mayor to advocate a trauma-informed community. Even when faced with major federal funding cuts, the resilience of this program remained unshaken. Thanks to a $10,000 grant from the Buffalo Bills Foundation and unwavering commitment of Superintendent Mark Laurie, this vital work continues to thrive using local resources and sheer determination. As Kadisha Tabasum wisely noted, trauma affects the lives of every person an individual interacts with. It has a far bigger outcome than we often expect. By addressing these issues head-on, these students are not just improving their school, they are healing their community. At this time, I'm honored to present the Champions of Change banner to the Niagara Falls School District for their Trauma-Informed Care Student Training Initiative. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. And I would ask the board and those in attendance to join me in congratulating and applauding the Niagara Falls champion team for their courage, their empathy, and their dedication to being the change our schools so desperately need.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What's that? I'm in the back nine. I'm in the back nine. I just, Trish, I just wanted to introduce everybody for a moment so that you know. First of all, don't leave, Meg. Don't leave. First of all, I wanted to say, on behalf of the board, and I know Mr. Bilson and President Pareto said, thank you very much for recognizing us. A great deal of praise goes to this young lady right here, Megan Corey, who is the University of Buffalo leader. She's our facilitator, and she's the one that works with our students and does a lot of the teaching along with staff at Niagara Falls High School. So, Megan, on behalf of the district, we thank you and the University of Buffalo for doing this. I also think that this board, anytime we have asked for anything related to student mental health, student trauma-informed care, without question, they've said yes. They have never wavered. They have never denied. And I appreciate you recognizing the board for that commitment to this. And they know how important academics are, but they also know how important student mental health is. So I just am grateful to this Board of Education for their commitment to it. And then you have an example of this young lady who not only is our ad hoc student board member, but along with Jaleesa and others that you mentioned, is right there at the forefront of the teaching that's going on at the Housing Authority, at the Bill Stadium, at the City Council. And Harjot is just amazing representative, and the way she speaks and the way she talks to everyone and her team, the team that you're on, is really something that we're proud of. So I say thank you for recognizing us. And we just appreciate that NSBA saw something good that we know is happening in Niagara Falls. Megan, thank you. Harjot, and to those students on the team, thank you. Administrators at Niagara Falls High School, thank you. And most importantly, to the board who unwaveringly says yes to anything we ask for. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
We are going to move to our third presentation, and I am really proud to continue to tell you that Niagara Falls, the Niagara Falls District, the Niagara Falls Board of Education continues to, I believe, be one of only 3 school districts in the state of New York that not only runs a district, pre-K to 12, but runs a Head Start program. It was a conversation and a lot of work we had about 5-6 years ago to take that over. It makes complete sense because the children of Head Start are going to be the children of the Niagara Falls District in no time. And it never made any sense to me that there would be an organization that ran Head Start with 150, 180 kids, and then a district. Why shouldn't we be one, ages 21 to 1? And I'm proud, again, that the board said yes, as they do when it's a good thing for kids. I'm proud of the way the Head Start program continues to grow and morph and mature. They've had to have a lot of patience. There's a lot of consternation and commentary out in the world about Head Start and funding and cuts. I want to thank the board again for being steadfast in supporting Head Start with in-kind support and with monetary support for the staff, because those 140, 150 kids are our kids. We are one city and one group of kids. The board is the oversight group of Head Start. You are. The Head Start team, parents, make it very easy because they do such a wonderful job. We just completed an audit, and I don't know if you're going to reference it, Dr. Lynette, but our program was rated very highly without any problems. I want to thank Dr. Lynette, who is here and who leads our program, and I'll let her introduce her parents and move us swiftly through our presentation. This is a requirement that we do this once a year, but I also think it's appropriate for you to get a status report on where we are with Head Start.
Thank you so much, Mr. Laurie and the board for having me here tonight, as well as the administrators from the district. So our parents are going to speak a little later about midpoint, and I will introduce them formally when we get to that point, but I did include their names on the opening slide here. Mrs. Jessica Kubiak is a current early Head Start parent. This is her second year with her other daughter in program. Violet was with us first, and now we have Lola. And she is our Policy Council Chair for the current school year, which is an election similar to you. That's the governing body for the parent component for Head Start, meeting the Head Start regulations. There's two governing bodies, you all here, and then our Policy Council, which are parent representatives from both Head Start and Early Head Start. So we're much smaller than the larger schools you have, but there's two small parent groups that then form the Policy Council. Ms. Jabria Drake is actually a former Head Start parent whose child was in program. As Desai, I always think I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Desai served in our program 3- and 4-year-old, and now is at Bleneva Bond, and she was elected as a current Policy Council community representative, transitioning into that. So they're going to speak a little bit later. Okay, just a quick overview. The first item that I'm going to go over is a review for all of you. You all are returning board members. You might remember I was here last January, and I went in more depth about the governing body responsibilities because it is a regulation that we review them annually. But I'm going to go through those slides fast because you already know what you're doing. I'm very confident in everything you do.
They do know it, and we have been through it, so.
Yes, and for the record, we'll have it, and if anybody wants the full PowerPoint, I'll make sure it's available to you.
Yeah, it's a good point, Doctor. We're not trying to gloss over anything. This board has been through this. This board lives this. They know policy, and we're not trying to fast talk anyone. We're just respectful of the knowledge they have.
It will be reviewed. You'll see that they're very similar, and none of those regulations have changed, so it is the same content. I'm going to then go into changes that impacted Head Start in 2025. Mr. Laurie alluded to that a little bit, and what we can expect in 2026 so far. We're also going to take a look back, a retrospective look back over the past 4 years, and we're going to look at the cumulative enrollment from January 2022 to January of 2026. It's 4 years this month. That is our anniversary of taking over full operations of Head Start. And we've come a long way, and there's no way I could have put everything in the slides. We'll hear from a parent perspective, 2 testimonies and their experiences in Head Start and Early Head Start, as well as our Policy Council Chair will share some parent data from our parent surveys from the past school year, 24-25. Then I'm just going to recap our federal reviews. We had a Focus Area 1, which is a Federal Review 1 back in 2022. Focus Area 2 was just in October. And then how it's tied to what they call designation renewal. Okay, just a nice pictures here of past celebrations that we had and just celebrating 4 years strong. You'll see some familiar faces. Some of you might be in those pictures that are up there. Did they cut you out?
And Mrs. Dunn, I want to make sure Mrs. Dunn was in there.
So some nice pictures up there from past experiences. And of course, our champion of many, many years, Mr. Robert DiFrancesco, who has missed greatly. So I just highlighted here the actual regulation number. So if you ever wanted to look it up, 45, Central Federal Register, I'm sure you know what that acronym means, 1301.1, defines the purpose of the governing bodies of Head Start. You are an elected body as a school board, but not all Head Starts are under a school district. As Mr. Laurie mentioned, we're one of only about 3 in the whole state.
Right.
And right now, I think 14%, 10 to 14% of school districts are grantees around the country. The next closest one to us is Geneva School District.
Right.
So this is the Head Start Management Systems wheel. Again, just more of a snapshot that's out of the federal regulation that really focuses on the leadership and governance. It's more of a visual than anything. The third item down is you all, the governing body. Now it says or tribal council because there are some Native American Head Start programs, but you know you have legal and fiscal oversight, and that builds on the management staff and the policy council. The policy council approves some things and they make recommendations to come to you. They get a monthly report. It's a received and filed item, just like it is for you all. These are the two main documents that are kind of known as the Head Start Bibles, if you will. The Head Start Act, which has not been revised since 2007, and then the Head Start Program Performance Standards. Now, those were revised under the Biden administration and released in August of 2025 with the intent to have things implemented by deadlines over the 2025 school year, and then some were further out. Some were maybe 2-3 years down the road implementation. The current administration is now in the process of revising these documents again. They've not been released, as you know, with recommendations or proposed Federal Register changes. They will be released as a proposal. People will have a comment period before they are adapted. They were supposed to be released in November. They have not yet. They're still working on them, but I think they're kind of busy with other things right now. But I wanted you to be aware we're still operating out of the ones that were the most recent. So this slide's not been updated on the headstart.gov website since 2019, but it does stand relatively similar. At last check, just from my own research, 10% of school systems are grantees. This one says 14%, but it's about 10% now, as some Head Start programs have either closed or they're no longer under a district. They might be under another organization. But most, you will notice, are under private or public, for-profit. You still see many, the 29% are community action organizations. Head Start came up as a part of the war on poverty in the 1960s, and most of them were within CAP agencies, and many of them still are in community action agencies. This is just a Venn diagram to show the three leadership elements for Head Start, so the leadership and governance. So you have your governing body, your policy council, and then the management staff, which is the day-to-day operation. Myself, a very small Head Start management team, and then we interface with the school district's leadership team. So an example is we don't hire our own HR administrator with Head Start grants. Part of that in-kind Mr. Laurie referred to would be the work that Maria Massaro does with us in hiring, background checks, and things of that nature. And that stands for all of the administrative staff.
Right, and that was the thinking. Why should a city have a Head Start program with an HR director, a food service director, a maintenance director? Why don't we combine the money and put it into a program for kids? And that was a driving force as to why we take it. So Maria and Mike and all they said, yeah, we'll take on more work. We'd love to have it under our purview. And Julie and Richard. So it didn't make sense to have 1965 that had this bucket and that bucket. To me, it makes no sense at all. It should be one, and that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you. This just gives a little bit more of the composition of each of those groups. It is important and required in the current regulations that the governing body have a fiscal expert, an education expert, and an attorney. So we always have to write that in our grant, don't we, Richard?
And we use Maria as the attorney, so just so you know, in case there's, because we know she would do it for her current salary. So just be very clear that it's Maria on that. Go ahead. And she gets it done, that's right.
Again, I'll make these slides available to you. This is just reviewing the key responsibilities of each of those three entities. This gives kind of an outline, a chart of the key activities of each of them, the management team, the policy council. It also says policy committees. We don't have any delegate agencies in our grant, but some organizations do, so they would have what's called a policy committee that would have representation too, and then the governing body. I'm just giving a snapshot of one example that we used in the past. One area that you were involved is we had to create bylaws when we first formed our Head Start program based on the regulations. So we drafted the governing body bylaws that we would have to follow for policy council. And those were reviewed by Mr. Massaro. I'm sure you remember that. And then we submit the decisions regarding Policy Council bylaws to all of you. And then you adopted, yes, and approved that we would follow those. There's been no reason to make changes at this point. We do review them annually. Maybe if we ever expanded, we might want to expand the members of Policy Council, but right now it works out the way we have it. So thank you. I just want to use that as one example that you were involved in that process. So, changes that impacted Head Start in 2025. If you've been paying attention for the last 12 months, a lot has happened. A lot is continuing to happen. I tried to take kind of a January to fast forward to where we are now of all the things. And some of these things you might think, did it really impact Head Start? Well, it did, because Head Start is funded by the Department of Health and Human Services, and we're nested within that. Within the Office of Head Start, so it's Department of Health and Human Services, and then it's the Administration for Children and Families that has many other offices and departments, and embedded under that is the Office of Head Start. It underwent significant leadership challenges, structural reorganizations, budget-related disruptions you probably learned on the news, and fortunately, we did not have an impact like some programs. We were still able to draw down funds when some other programs were not. But there was a big shift back in 2025, and that, you remember the funding freeze? I'm sure you all remember that back then. And then several members of the Office of Head Start were terminated at that time. Then we fast forward to March, and that is when there was a restructuring of the regional offices. There were 10 Department of Health and Human Services regional offices throughout the country. Ours used to be Region 2, which was New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, and our regional office was out of New York City. But what happened is they went from 10 to 5, and our regional team all were left without a job. So the folks that we worked with right from the inception, Wendy Garrett was a name you might sound familiar to you. She was our program specialist. But she and many others no longer had a job at that point, and then they restructured, and now we're part of the Northeast Regional Office based out of Philadelphia. And that is most of the northeastern states. So we have a new program specialist, Asha Williams, that we're still getting to know, because there was a period we didn't have anybody to contact if we had any questions, because then we're shut down for a little bit. Thank God nothing came up that we needed them for. So there was a lot of reduction to the workforce. Again, you're aware of that. So you can see here 5 regional offices overseeing Head Start programs in 22 states were closed, and then they were folded in. There were some things that happened also under the Administration for Healthy America Act, a new division. We had a new Department of Health and Human Services secretary named, and it's only recently that we have somebody overseeing Head Start now, but that's still in the process of some changes, which I'll get to. So Head Start policy and funding timeline. So in January 2025, this was already in the works based on the previous administration. They expanded Head Start eligibility in 2025 early to extend more access for people receiving WIC, SNAP, and federal housing assistance. Now, we do live in a high poverty area, so for our program, it didn't really change too much, but for some other communities where they have more higher income families, it ended up being an opportunity to extend the opportunity of Head Start to more families because of the new regulations that had a higher wage or a higher ceiling. March of 2025, we faced budget cuts. If you remember, a funding bill was passed by Congress, and it included $750 million in cuts to Head Start programs, prompting warnings of reduced access for approximately 80,000 children. Again, we've been living in odd times. It was an odd year this past year. And it was during that month, you might remember, we later had to make an amendment to our budget for the current school year, fiscal year 26, because we were informed that we had our Head Start grant cut. So you probably remember living some of this. Then in August 25, we were supposed to begin implementing some of these new standards that had been released in August. In August of 2025, is when some of those compliance dates were due for the new performance standards that were released in August of 2024. So what ended up happening is there was some things like staff compensation requirements to pay early educators salaries comparable to local public schools. We were really looking forward to that. But unfortunately, that's some of those, what I'll call Biden-era rules that were supposed to happen have been rolled back now. So they've been rolled back, so we're not sure what's gonna happen with that. The disabilities enrollment continues to be on there though, the 10% minimum have to have children with disabilities. Believe me, we have no problem meeting that number. As you know, we see those numbers growing at all of the age levels. And then instructional support, the Office of Head Start officially delayed the increase of some thresholds of quality, which I'll get into in a later slide, until implementation in 2027. So it's not applicable right now. And then, again, just some other things, some expansion of nutrition. The government shutdown we experienced in October and November. In November as well, there was a continuing resolution to keep Head Start funded act. At that point, you might remember that. And then in December, just last month, HHS reportedly instructed Head Start providers to remove specific terms from grant applications, including race, racism, Black, Native American, disability, and pregnant people. That's just a small snapshot. I just want you to be aware of the challenges. I spoke with Mr. Laurie on December 22nd about some of the challenges I think we're going to face with this new grant application, because they are looking, it will be the first one reviewed under the new administration's vision, under their alignment, under their agenda. And we want to avoid having it be sent back if we don't use the right words. But what makes it challenging, and the National Head Start Association has cautioned us, in the past we would use the performance standards as a guide to writing the grants. And there are many elements that we have to follow. We were told not to follow what we used to do because there's still a lot of unknowns. So if we've always reported certain things, we're going to have to go back and really look at it with a lens and saying, do we need to change what we're wording here? They also have changed it. It used to be a 60-page application max size, including the narrative for the budget and the program, and they will not let us exceed more than 30 pages. Now, granted, Richard and I are good about 30 pages, but there's a lot of things I don't know how we'll address them appropriately in 30 pages. So again, they came out with new regulations and guidelines, and Richard and I have been participating in webinars with the new regulations and guidance for the grant application. Now, you may have heard, I mentioned already, they're revising the performance standards, so at some point we may have new changes coming up. And just as of January 8th, so that is today, New York State has received formal notice from the Administration of Children and Families regarding a freeze of federal dollars. And this is impacting 5 what they call blue states, but we know we're really a mixture of many people, and more than just blue or red or purple, but New York, California, Colorado, Illinois, and Minnesota. The premise is that there's widespread fraud and that we have to justify why we need those funds. Now, because Head Start is under administration for children and families, there is concern it could, doesn't mean it's going to, it could impact Head Start funding as well. It's all playing out right now, so we'll find out as the days go on. So this seemed to be a good time just to celebrate a little bit too of all the children that have had the positive experience in Head Start since our first day, which was January 3rd. It was a Monday of 2022 when we acquired the program. On that first day, we only had 46 children in Head Start, and we had 17 in early Head Start. Now, 6 of those 17 we were able to transition to Head Start because if you remember, we never did acquire the Donovan building on Main Street. So we did try a home visiting model to serve those children the best we could because we kept thinking we were going to open, and it didn't happen. So 21-22 numbers are really kind of us taking over in the middle of a school year. So some of the data was from the interim agency, CDI, and then we, quickly you can see, we just about doubled our enrollment during that time. We put a lot of effort forth. And then you'll see, when I say cumulative enrollment, this does include children that may have dropped or moved away, but that was the maximum amount in our program information reports that are reported to the government on an annual basis. Now, our current numbers are still growing because I put this right up as of today, as of January 8th, we are at 77 for Head Start and 41 we've served so far for Early Head Start. So we've served a lot of children in these two small programs as a cradle to career model, as Mr. Laurie has always wanted, and you all supported for the children and families in the school district. So just as a snapshot too, you can take a look at the number of children with special needs. That number continues to be a growing concern because of the balance of children in classrooms. And now, just to recap, in Early Head Start, our max size is 8 children to 2 adults, a teacher and an assistant, per the regulations, less children per that age group. They have a lot of needs and they need more supervision. A little bit older for preschool age, it's 14 with 2 adults for 3-year-olds, and it's 16 with 2 adults in the classroom, a teacher and an assistant for the 4-year-old classrooms. So I know it's different than the regulations in state ed or the number max size you have in your other classrooms. So a retrospective look back over the past 4 years. Again, I'll make sure you get copies of this. So in January, we inherited a program severely under-enrolled. We were still under pandemic restrictions during that time. We acquired the DeFrancesco Center, including surplus of equipment and materials. And some of them were in very poor shape. The technology is one big example in that building that had never been tended to or upgraded. Several areas were out of compliance and deficient, such as, but not limited to, I couldn't have put everything on the slides, but our developmental screenings and completions were not where they should have been. Dental screenings, these are all requirements per the regs. Mental health services were pretty much non-existent. No coaching in classrooms, and we were supposed to have them. Several staff did not even meet the minimum qualifications per the Head Start regulations. Health advisory. Didn't really have much of anybody. They had a couple of people on I called them myself to say, would you be on our health advisory? And then I called a lot of other people I knew to form a health advisory. But at that time, we had next to nothing when they turned over and transitioned the information. We were not participating in something called Quality Stars. It's a quality improvement system in New York State. Our child health tracking system was really pitiful. And since that time, our enrollment has grown and it's stabilized now. We're implementing full-scale ages and stages questionnaires. They're also used in the pre-K program as well. Dental screenings are completed now through our partnership with University Pediatric Dentistry. So all of the children are receiving a dental screening as they are supposed to by regulation. Parent committees have been well established and active in both Head Start and Early Head Start. Policy Council established and has continued to operate. The bylaws were developed. All staff now meet or exceed the minimum qualifications in Head Start regulations, and this was noted during our federal review. And we worked very hard toward that, and I know Maria is aware of that. Established a robust health advisory committee made up of over 40 health professionals and community-based providers. This does include pediatricians, dentists, special educational type of needs, mental health. It's really a robust group we have. They meet twice a year. Quality Stars participating program. We earned a 4 out of 5-star provisional rating. It's kind of like when you go to a hotel or you go to a restaurant and have ratings, and we worked very, very hard to get to this level. And believe me, we would have been in the negative stars on day one. I hate to say that, but we really would have been. 100% of our children every year for all 4 years have health insurance. 100% of immunizations are completed and up to date for all 4 years. And I'm really proud of those numbers because we worked very hard to get there. So our Child Development Associate credential is the career lattice entry path for our early childhood professionals, and it is the bare minimum. And since we acquired the program, 9 teacher assistants and program aides have successfully completed all Child Development Associate credential requirements. 7 early Head Start with a specialization in infant toddlers, 2 for Head Start, specialization in preschool, and then in addition to that, 6 have gone through the renewal process because you have to renew it, it's not good forever. And 1 early Head Start TA is enrolled in this time and expected to complete those requirements by the end of the current school year. Now, funny that mental health was highlighted tonight. I didn't know that was actually going to be part of tonight's presentation, but we are fortunate to be housed and as a part of the district here because Head Start was able to benefit from the partnerships already in existence that the Niagara Falls City School District has with the University of Buffalo Institute of Trauma and Trauma-Informed Care. This is sort of a timeline of some of the things we've done so far. We came in after some of this work already started, and I, in consultation with Mr. Wotton, are continuing to extend that, and we are now at a point where we are establishing our trauma-informed care champion team after we've had some of that more intensive training that building principals and staff in all of your other schools already received. So we are up to snuff now. Positive emotional development and learning skills is PEDALS. We've been able to successfully implement that, which is a wonderful social emotional program that we've been able to take advantage of, and we continue that work now. Everyday Interactions Matter is the early childhood infant toddler counterpart of the preschool version of PEDALS. And we have that going on right now too. We're very grateful. That is housed under Community Connections New York, which I know they've done some work for the district before. Best Self is another key player in mental health, and I took only one item to highlight all the things we're doing that were not being done before. Best Self is another partner, and we've done some work with them with teacher-child interaction therapy. It's an evidence-based model for young children. 2 to 7 with disruptive behavior problems and their parents and caregivers. TCIT coaching that took place in our Head Start classrooms, parent-child interaction training for parents, and then mental health first aid for adults for all of our staff. And now we're moving forward with mental health consultations. There are 40 Head Start performance standards alone that address mental health. However, there is concern that this is one of the areas that will likely be impacted in the new revision, which I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that. More with the pyramid model, that's where we started earlier on. And we continue our works with implementation of practice-based coaching in the pyramid model in both Head Start and early Head Start. Examples of established partners. Now, I would have put in multiple slides, so if there's a program up there you're wondering if we're involved with, we probably are, but I just tried to do a snapshot of a sampling of all of them. Some are through our association with the district already, and some are pieces that we may have forged forward because we needed something in partnership with them, and they needed something from us, so it's reciprocal. So next, I'm going to introduce Jessica Kubiak to come on up and speak to us about her perspective as a parent, and Ms. Jabria Drake to speak to us about her perspective as a parent. And then they'll share a little bit of data, and then I'll wrap up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you
Hi,
for
Jess.
having me here today. Thank you, Dr. Lynette. Well, my name is Jessica Kubiak. I served as a parent representative of the Policy Council last year, and I'm currently serving as the chair of the Policy Council and the Early Head Start Parent Committee this year. I have a daughter named Lola who's currently enrolled in the Early Head Start program this year. I also have a daughter named Violet who was enrolled in the program last year.
How old are they, Jess?
Lola is 1.5 and Violet's 3.
I never thought, who would have ever thought we'd have 1.5-year-olds in school? Mm-hmm. Who would, Mr. Villardo, when you were in that club that you were talking about, there weren't 1.5-year-olds in school, were there? Go ahead. Sorry, Jess.
That's okay. We also have other children in the district as well, 2 at 79th and 2 at Abbott.
And thank you very much for sending your kids to our district.
Absolutely.
Mom, thank you for trusting us. Thank you I mean it with the greatest appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you. I try to be as involved as I possibly can because I feel like our district is incredible. There's not even words. So thank you.
Thank you.
Our daughter Violet was screened last year at Early Head Start, and she was referred for further evaluation for an eye exam. And that resulted in her getting glasses, which was very helpful, thanks to the program. And then she was also able to transition very smoothly into pre-K3, having the structure from Head Start. She's used to navigating the program, making friends, following the schedule. Our daughter Lola has had a huge increase in her language skills since starting the Head Start program as well. She's so excited every day to go to school, to spend time with her friends, her teachers. So this program has meant so much to my family. It allows me to not only work, but to also excel at my career. It also allows my husband to be able to pursue a PhD program.
Wow.
While he simultaneously fulfills duties with Army Reserve. So we have a lot in motion with our family.
Wow.
Very much so thanks to this program. And I'm very grateful and appreciative for the board, Mr. Laurie, Dr. Lynette, all of the staff at the Head Start program. Everyone's so passionate, dedicated, and yet professional, like all wrapped in one. It truly feels so welcoming and supportive. It's like a home environment, which is incredible. And the Head Start program is definitely a huge asset to the community and the district. And can't thank you all enough.
Well, thank you. That was a beautiful, beautiful testimony. And you know what I like the best? You said some great things, and I applaud you and your family for getting your education and furthering it, for your husband for protecting our country and getting his doctorate. But you know what I love? You said the best thing. Our district, because it is your district and our district. So thank you, Jessica, for trusting us. I'm so grateful for your words and your involvement.
Thank you.
Jabria, can you match that? Yes. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Jabria Drake, and I'm a former Head Start parent. My son went through the previous 2 years, pre-K3 and pre-K4. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity for me to speak on behalf of Dr. Lynette and the Head Start program. Currently, I sit as a policy council community rep, so I'm still very happy to be active. During my time as a parent at Head Start, I received full support. I had an opportunity to show my true efforts as a parent by joining the parent committee, and I gained further knowledge as a policy council member as well. The program provided easy access to resources like healthy meals and speech therapy. Head Start provided patience and observed my child to help him receive the speech therapy. When I tried to get it on my own, I was put on a 2-year waiting list. So,
wow.
Yeah. So to go to Head Start, and they immediately started helping me and, just got me in there. It was great.
That's a great story.
Yeah, and it prepared him very well for kindergarten. Everything was all set when we transferred to Blenheim. It was just all set for us. And then myself, I developed more discipline and structure in my daily routine, participating in the program also. Dr. Lynette's guidance and knowledge gave us all encouragement and confidence to achieve more and better ourselves. And so I'm just truly grateful for my time spent with the program.
Jabria, thank you. You said something that harkens me back to 6 years ago when we came to this board and asked him to take Head Start out. And you were very honest and revealing in what you said, and I appreciate your honesty. But I remember what this board said at the time. We'll take it on, but that doesn't mean that parents get a free pass to not get involved. And you made such a strong statement, and you were very vulnerable in saying you have worked on your structure and discipline. And I appreciate your vulnerability, but I appreciate that you did it. Because what the board wanted to make sure was that this just wasn't a babysitting service and the parents got a free pass. Obviously, Jessica has with her family, but you really articulated it so well in that subtle statement you made. So I thank you for your vulnerability, and I thank you for what you did to better yourself.
Thank you.
So that really says a lot about you as a mom.
Thank you.
And again, thank you to having your child involved in our district. We appreciate you and your involvement. So thank you so much. I just want to say the purpose of Head Start, articulated very well by Jessica and Jabria, was to give a stronger beginning for a better completion for our students. And I know that their children and the 460 other ones that we talked about in the slides will have a stronger high school completion and a stronger chance at a more successful future when we probably won't even be sitting here because they're in kindergarten. But that was the reason for taking it on. And what Jabria said about, and Jessica too, about parent development is not lost. This is not just for kids, it's to help parents develop. So while some, people say, what are we doing? Or we're not doing enough for literacy. Parents, unrestricted, unrehearsed, never talked to you about it, didn't sit at home and write anonymous letters. You went to work and you got things done. So you are examples, shining examples of what this district could be. And I Dr. Lynette did a great job with the slides. Let me tell you this. We will apply. We have to apply again for our next 5-year cycle. We'll do that in April. We will receive this grant again. We will do it successfully. We won't worry about the navigation of what's going on in blue and red. That doesn't mean anything to me. What means something to me and how I'll lead this is we'll get this job done so that we keep this program and we'll keep it thriving for kids. That's important because these parents are relying on it. And I want to tell you what this board has done because the funding has stayed flat. The funding has stayed flat. That is, we're not debating it. It is what it is. What this board has done through our finance department is they've reached into our general fund to provide things like benefits for the staff that are there. The grant cannot pay for the benefits. We're not going to not have the program or have fewer classes based on that. The board, because of good finance people, have been allowed to have the benefits be in-kind service to the Head Start staff. So I want you to know that that's what they've approved every time at budget time. And I know no matter how hard the budget is, and it'll be tough, they'll get through it and they'll do it again. So I really appreciate that. The negative, if there is a negative, is, and the wish and the hope and the thing that we haven't accomplished that I wish we would, is on the early side, the 1 and 2 year old side. We're at 40, what are we at, 41, 42. We would have hoped to have grown that more. And that's where, because we have a waiting list. I don't know, what, 15, 20 kids more?
Yeah, we're probably almost 35.
35 kids. That is the place in the district where we have a waiting list. And if I have one wish, it would be that we could have more funding to have not only more kids, but more rooms, which is a problem that we'll work on. That is, and when I look at the 5-year summary, those things, that's a great side-by-side. What I feel that I didn't accomplish well enough is to get more 1 and 2 year olds, as your children were, because that really is where it has to start.
There's just a little bit more, and then we'll step out. Thank you, Mr. Laurie, so much. I do want to just mention to you real quickly, though, one thing we're doing to be sort of creative in accepting more of the infants, toddlers, when children reach 2.9 months of age, we can actually enroll them in Head Start. So we are, as children are aging at that, now they can stay in early Head Start if they elect not to move on, but we have a bunch reaching that now and we're offering them, would you like to transition now? Okay. And it can free up some slots to bring in some from the wait list, so we're doing that.
I like that. So I don't know if you had something else?
Yep, just a little bit more, give you a little bit of parent survey.
I'll quickly run through these numbers from the parent survey. So for our parents with the just general experience of the program, they rated it good to great with the overall rating of a 98%, 97% from Head Start, 100% from Early Head Start. For educational category, the parents stated that the program helped them set their goals for their child's educational development to help support their child's early learning and school readiness. So they gave that a rating of 98% overall, with 98% from Head Start, 97% from Early Head Start. With the family resources section, our parents stated that our program helps them connect with other parents, community resources, and to set achievable goals for their family, and gave that an overall rating of 96%, 94% from Head Start, 100% from Early Head Start. And for the health category, our parents stated that our program helped them to access health resources in the community, understand the importance of healthy habits, and also screenings. So that was a 95% overall, with 95% from Head Start and 94% from Early Head Start.
Those are pretty good percentages. They're kind of like hard jobs grades,
Yes.
I hope, except for that one class. Yeah, yours are, except for that one class. Go ahead.
That's everything.
So it's just a snapshot of the past school year, the most recent school year, and some of those parents have more than one child in programs, so it's the
seem pretty
number of
happy.
parents. So just Focus Area 1 took place in 2022. It was December. We hadn't even had the program for a full year yet. We did a really good job with that first federal monitoring review, and we had only one area at that time that was considered a potential area of concern, and it was at that time not all of our Head Start staff met the minimum qualifications for Head Start. Well, we made sure that when we had the FA2, that we weren't going to have that become an out of compliance issue. So area of concern just means if we did nothing about it, when they come back, then we would be out of compliance. So I'm proud to report we didn't have any of that. Now we are awaiting the final review in writing, so the letter that we would receive. Typically it's 60 days after the close of the review, and the review was completed on October 24th. So technically, the way things typically go, we should have got it around maybe Christmas Eve. We have not received it, and we were cautioned that it might take longer because at the time the government was shut down, and we were one of the last programs. They had just started doing reviews in October, and I'm so relieved we got ours done because the week after ours was done, they put a hold on them. And we were actually supposed to have the review last spring. We were anticipating, but we never got the letter, and it was because of some of the changes going on. So we have no reason to believe there were any deficiencies or out of compliance issues, so we expect to see a positive written review. And then the last part of the federal review that happens during the FA2 is the class. That's the Classroom Assessment Scoring System. It's a research-based tool used in Head Start programs to observe and score the quality of teacher-child interactions, which are crucial for children's development, learning. And it focuses on domains of emotional support, classroom organization, and instructional support. Now, this is only Head Start, not Early Head Start. So our teachers are familiar with the class. Our education supervisor is a class reliable, trained individual who does the monitoring internally. But one of the components now, they used to send somebody out to observe, but now instead it's a method where it's videotaped and then we send it to the government. So working with Ray's team, Thomas over in IT has been assigned, oh, there you are. I didn't even see you over there. Thomas is going to be the one doing the videotaping of the class assessment scoring, and then externally a reliable individual will view it. Now the good thing is we can do a practice first. We can view it, we could do 2 or 3, and we can send in the best of. And I'm confident we're going to do well with that. The teachers have really grown tremendously. All of the teachers there have a baccalaureate degree or higher. Most are certified, and we're in good shape over there. Just to show you what the class measures, and again, I'll give you a copy of this later, but you can see the breakdown of those domains. And the class is used in all Head Starts, and they have made it used as an instrument to indicate quality and thresholds of quality. So quality thresholds for the scores is they want to see a 6 for emotional support, a 6 for classroom organization, and a 3 minimum for instructional support in that domain. It's quite involved. I used to be actually a class reliable observer. I didn't continue that credential because I didn't need it anymore when I switched over. But you can see, now if they fall, this is like competitive. So if there was real concerns, it would be lower than a 5, or a 2.3 for instructional support. They wanted to change that one, but they made a change to that. It was supposed to go up to 2.5 for instructional support. They kept it at 2.3. So we'll keep you posted once we know the outcome of that too. And then that is all done as a part of designation renewal. So If a program has 2 or more deficiencies, defined as systemic issues, substantial material failure in an agency or organization, automatically the grant will go up for recompetition. Doesn't mean we can't apply, but it would go up for that. We do not anticipate that happening. Now, really major issues, if our license was ever revoked, or there was some other major, maybe failure in terms of fiscal, they could take that away. Or if we, had something, we could have debarment from, another federal agency we work with. And an example of that is we're required to participate in child and adult care food program. It's not an option. So if something happened to jeopardize that, it could impact the Head Start funding if CACFP says, we're not going to fund you anymore. So we want to stay in good standing with those other programs, too, that we have to interface with. And then, typically in your 5-year monitoring cycle, you have the 2 reviews, and FA1 usually within the first 18 months or so, and then in your 4th year, usually is when you have the FA2. And just as a reminder, we will begin a new 5-year grant cycle this fiscal year, which will be 27, and our grant is due on April 1st. So it's going to come to you in March for approval. Policy Council will have that approval as well before it comes to you, and then Richard and I will upload all of the documents as required. Then we will sit and wait, and we usually hear somewhere between June 24th, I've never seen us get notified before then, and June 30th. Even though the new funding starts July 1, it always is like that last week when we find out. So that's where we're at, and then I'm just including some resources. But thank you so much for your support, and I want to tell you again, your individual and collective efforts, and the parents and the staff, all of us, our program, all of us together have changed the trajectory of young lives in this school district and created that true cradle to career, reaching them earlier so that they have a real positive start and a successfthis finish, as Mr. Laurie indicated. So thank you again.
That's really great to hear. We work hard at it. And this was great, very comprehensive. I have to say, Jess and Jabria, you were the best part of this, though. And what you've done with your kids is the best part of it. So I hope you know we're working for you, and we will continue to work for you. And we thank everyone involved in Head Start, and I thank the board for letting us take this on. We will get 7s. They've never happened before. There'll be 6, but we'll get 7s. I'm not worried about it. Very quickly, I make light of that. But Ray, Maria, Richard, Julie, Mike, Earl before Rick, they help to make this machine run, and because they're the backbone that supports it too. So I thank all of you as well for doing that. And when I said you had to do it, you said, "Oh yeah, we were waiting for you to ask." So thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely,
very much.
And I want to say too, I've seen tremendous growth as parents, as individuals. Yeah. And I'm very proud of them to see how much they've grown too as parents. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
We have just an agenda review, and I have a few comments, and that will wrap it up. So, Ray, if you would pull up, there you go, Ray, perfect, it's right where I wanted you. We have a meeting in 2 weeks. Today, Julie Marcasia, that's your name, right? Julie Marcasia and I got together, and we started to look at the budget. We will continue to do that next Wednesday. And then we will give you a preliminary 2026-27 budget at the meeting in 2 weeks. Super preliminary. And then what we'll do is every meeting we'll add to it as we've done in the past. So Julie and Marcasia are on it. I try to lay out some parameters for them today. That'll happen. We'll have an agenda review, and we may, at that meeting, have some time for an executive session. They are thrilled. Marcasia got a big cup of coffee when she had to come in the meeting with me. So I don't know what that meant, but it was her first meeting with me. She brought this humongous, I hope you're not listening, Mr. Bass, this humongous cup of coffee and didn't spill it. We have a meeting on the 22nd. Here's what we have for you. We have We have the budget transfer, we have the minutes, etc. Maria, are you almost ready? I'm going to call you after we do the short-term contracts. Let me go through these short-term contracts with you in depth. Curriculum Associates, Rick, this is a professional development day in March. This is for whom? This is for all of the elementary teachers, and it will happen in March. The ironworkers. The ironworkers bring a professionally trained individual in to teach 50 of our high school students certification to receive their OSHA 10 card. Now, you don't have to be in our trades program to get an OSHA 10 card. We have kids coming to us who want their OSHA 10 card, even though they're not in our trades program. We don't just teach reading and math and writing and things like that. We get kids OSHA cards. That's what that's for. That's what that cost is. That's part of the real trades program we have. I know the anonymous people keep writing about the fake program. That's a real program where kids get real OSHA 10 cards. So I'm really proud of that. Yeah, that's what the anonymous letter writers say. These are real OSHA cards. I'm really pleased about that. This is
How many students do we have, roughly?
In the trades program, we have 52. In the P-TECH programs, 176. And then there'll probably be about another 40 kids that'll get their OSHA card. Pretty good numbers.
Yeah, because it was at 40-something.
No,
so
it was less. It was fewer students, and we had to add a teacher. We brought Matt Rajak back. He was like the guy in The Godfather. Yeah, it was too many for Earl's son, Mr. Smeal, to do it, so we had to bring him back one more year. And the high school, I don't see the high school administrators here, they're getting ready to expand that even next year. So it's a real program. Christina is part of, she's a workshop. She is, and they left, she is going to give a workshop to the Head Start parents next, the 16th. I think that's next Friday. Head Start has a professional development day for the Head Start teachers. That's what number 3 is. Number 4 is we have the high school now has 3 sections of college sociology taught by our teacher, our certified teacher, 3 sections. It's about 65 students. The $33,000 is to pay for the courses. Now what Julie will do is she will take that bill and run it through a BOCES co-serve, and we will get reimbursed for that $33,000. Dr. Farrar, who was here last time, started that program. I give her great credit for doing that and working on that. You know, P-TECH pays for P-TECH, early college pays for early college. But when we have other college courses, and we have 63 of them for those that are listening, and we have to pay it out of your general fund, we now, through Dr. Farrar's work, have a way to get reimbursed. Now, the reimbursement comes a year later. So you know how that works, but we still get reimbursed. And kids get 3 college credits in their wallet. So are you in sociology at all? She took psychology. That's why you're sitting next to me. Yeah. Was it college? I don't want to repeat what you said, so I just asked Harjat. So Harjat didn't take sociology. Knowing that she'd need to sit next to me, she decided to take psychology. How was your class?
It was great. Honestly, like, having it paid off too saved me a whole bunch of money. And it was also 3 credits,
Right.
intro to psych, so yeah.
And that was with what college, young lady?
I think that was Brian and Streck.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have articulation agreements with multiple colleges. Elizabeth Bell is a teacher resource center course paid for by the TRC. I'd like to meet Ann Kent Kozwizniewski. She does a lot of short-term contracts for the teacher resource center. We are having a science fair, and the Buffalo Museum of Science is coming in to help us with the science fair. They're doing building simple powered cars by wind. We're bringing the Buffalo Museum of Science in with us. Raw tools, number 8, number 9, and number 10 are different activities for Saturday academies. We have a Saturday academy at Lynn School this week, at Abbott. So I'll repeat that again. Abbott Saturday Academy, they've been great. We're trying to now line up all of our exhibits and presenters for February Saturday Academies. That will be at back at Cataract and Bond. Derek and Lynn have the Saturday Academies this month. Lynn has one this Saturday, and then on the 24th, we're at Gaskell. So those last 3 contracts are for Saturday Academies. Maria, you ready? Let's do personnel. And then we'll do the resolutions. Then I have a few comments and answer your questions. Here she is. Head Start attorney.
So here we are. Happy New Year, everyone. And beginning with the certificated report, you're going to see a retirement, June 30, 20.
No!
Yes.
Another administrative retirement.
Yep, another administrative retirement,
we
which
knew
is
that.
unfortunate. Mrs. Capone will be retiring in June.
And as we've talked about, that's why we're building our team, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in 2 weeks. We're building a central office team that will certainly help the new superintendent, and it will certainly lead to continuity and great work. They're going to be dynamite.
You'll see a probationary appointment of a technology teacher at LaSalle Preparatory School, and you'll see 3 regular substitute appointments on the top of page 2 of 9, 2 teaching assistants, 1 at Maple, 1 at Gaskell, and 1 special education teacher at Cataract. Moving down to leave of absence, we have a teaching assistant at Maple Avenue who is taking an educational leave to become a teacher. And then you'll see our per diem and schedule pay for the month of January. That'll take you all the way through page 9 of 9.
I just wanted to make a point on the top of 3 of 9, that teaching assistant who's taking a leave of absence. She has to do this reluctantly, but she's another one of our great up-and-coming minority teachers.
Yes.
And she's going to be a minority special education teacher. So while we hate to see her have to take that leave of absence, we're pleased to continue to find and promote strong minority teaching candidates. And that's just another example of it. And I know it's tough that she's got to take a leave, but that's why she's doing it.
Correct. And Mr. Laurie, it is part of, even though not strictly Grow Your Own, part of the Grow Your Own program with our Grow Your Own educators is that we do provide these leaves and allow the candidates to come in and out of their employment in the district and flex their time when possible.
It's a really good point. So I'm not sure what her
She's a teaching assistant, and she is going to work as many days as she can.
Right.
We did that with a special educator who's now working in the elementary schools, and also with a teaching assistant who's working at Gaskell Prep School as part of our Grow Your Own commitment.
So the point is, she's got to leave to get certified, but we're going to let her work every day she can so she still has some income.
Correct.
But she's going to be a great special ed teacher for you next year.
Moving on to the classified report, we have the retirement of a long-term porter in the district. This will also be a loss that we've...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's done a phenomenal job.
At the field house, especially.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Several resignations. These are of special education classroom associates, food service helper. We did have 2 incidents of job abandonment. And we have tried to get in touch with these individuals, and they have not replied to us. So if they do decide to come back to the district, we will take them back. However, they have stopped coming to work and stopped responding to us. So that's why they're on your report like this evening.
Yeah, that's not a usual title, Maria.
That is not a usual
That
title.
is not usual on your personnel report, the top of page 2.
2.
That is not usual, but you haven't had any luck.
Just can't get in touch with them. Sure. Yeah. Well, I say that with still needing information about why we haven't heard from them, right? But
Yeah.
if there was a rational basis, pretend, for example, they had been in the hospital for some reason, and out of commission for this period of time, we would certainly hear them and consider. You would make the ultimate decision. I'm just sharing with you. Yeah. Yeah. Probationary appointments, assistant child care associate, special education classroom associate, Head Start teacher assistant, who we were speaking of this evening. We did open a class at Cataract Elementary School.
Right.
And so we have hired staff to cover that special education class there. Temporary appointment of an assistant child care associate, and then you see change of status, leave of absence, voluntary transfers, and additional hours. Any questions on the classified report?
You have 2 weeks to review that. If you have any questions, call Maria. Do you anticipate any additions?
I do. I anticipate several additions to both the certificated and classified report.
Thank you. Any questions? 601 is a receipt of $2,339,992 for a federal special education grant. I'm pleased to tell you that our federal grants have come in at the amounts that were expected. I'm really happy about that. We have not lost a penny, and we're only waiting on one grant approval. Otherwise, we have not seen a penny decrease. Let's keep it going that way, right? We are waiting on a Title III grant, which is about $23,642. That's the only grant that we haven't heard back on yet, and I'm certain that we'll hear back on it. Otherwise, all of our grants have come in at the amount promised. Now, I read today, and we'll talk about this during the budget, that there is a bill in the House to slash those budgets 26%, and the Senate is saying no. So we'll watch those grants, but I'm super glad this year we have seen no reductions. So let's keep it going. 602, 3, and 4, you've done these before. These are to appoint the administrators as building level to safety teams. We have a number of administrators here, and I appreciate them so much for being here, but they appoint their safety teams. 603 is the appointment of the District Code of Conduct. I'm going to come back to you on that, and the district-wide comprehensive safety plan. We appoint the members, they review the plans, they bring them back to you. We have a May public hearing. We have to have a special policy added this month. You've been through that before. Maria will give the report on it when it's time. Remember, we had to do this, if you do remember, Dacia's Law? Dacia's Law got introduced, and actually it was April Baskin from Buffalo who brought that in, but that changed the whole timing of these appointments. 605, now these, I will tell you, this involves 146 students. It is paid for by the Student Mental Health Grant. Gaskill, Cataract, Hyde Park are doing yoga. They do it. It's part of the grant we wrote. As a matter of fact, Gaskill was given an award because their principal had the best downward dog pose during the yoga time, and that's why we were able to get that grant. And there, pardon me. Yeah. So that is you do yoga at your school. You don't do it. Is that what it is? I'll make sure I don't stop by during those times, unless you're going to be doing it. All right. So that's for yoga at a couple of schools, paid for by a grant. We have had Read to Succeed, which was a program where we have brought volunteers from the community at Bond. They come in twice a week and read with our K1 and 2-year-olds. It's been very successful. It was a program started in Buffalo. It has gone very well. We've engaged about 17 volunteers who have consistently come in and read to students. It is a nationally approved program, and we have brought it to Niagara Falls. F-Bites is a very big contract. However, it employs 6 people. It is at many of our schools. We have added G.J. Mann this year to our repertoire of schools. Mr. Briglio wanted it there. It is every Saturday academy at all 18 Saturday academies This pays for that. This also pays for the food. In our first year, we were trying to work it with Kevin. We decided to be audit clean, that we would have them purchase the food. So there is money in this contract to purchase food, and there is money in this contract to purchase some equipment. That's why, along with hiring 6 staff members under the direction of Chef Bobby Anderson, who has been here, that's why that is a rather hefty amount of money in that. Now, good news there is we're hopeful that a student mental health grant will support the payment of that program. And you all know, I think Mrs. Dunn has been to F-Bites a few times. And I think the other thing it takes Niagara Falls High School kids off-site and has them work in food trucks and other places. I think that's where you ran into them. And in the schools. It is more than breakfast, it's breakfast and lunch. Again, I don't want to keep picking on him, but after he does yoga, I know Mr. Zimmerman is the beneficiary of F-Bites. Is that correct? Huh? Oh, for the kids. But you do have it at Gasco, right, Derek? How many times, how does it work? It just
It's about every day. Every morning during ASD, we have a different group of students go down and they run a coffee cart. They go around the building and they serve coffee and like day dishes, like a light breakfast to staff members while learning how to prepare that food themselves. And they also prepare the student of the month breakfast for students. So you have a group of students preparing for students. And then we rotate different groups every quarter. So it's a wonderful program.
Yep. And it gets a lot of kids engaged. And for our extraordinarily special needs children, it's teaching them how to become baristas and cooks so that Chef Bobby places them. Are you in F-Bites too? Go ahead.
I used to do it in middle school. I'm pretty sure it was during my lunch periods at Gaskill, actually. So.
At Gaskill? What did you make?
At Gaskill. The only thing I remember right now is grilled cheese. So.
It's more than I know how to make, Harjad. You know what I learned how to make since until my good friend Mike gets back going. The only thing I know how to make is reservations. All right, so I haven't learned anything else but making reservations. So that's that. Anyways, Project Lee. That is Reverend Copeland. Again, I don't want to just say Gaskell, it's at many more. Lynn, I think you have Reverend Copeland. I know you've met Reverend Copeland just a couple of weeks ago. This is to continue the program at those schools. He's servicing 225 students, paid for by the STOP grant. 609 is a girls' circle. It's paid for by the Student Mental Health Grant, community missions in 9 schools, servicing 189 students. Now, I know I'm looking at a couple of the longtime board members. I know you'll remember this maybe as 2 superintendents ago. This is when we work with the county and the district and the crime prevention at middle school. The county reimburses us $30,000. We kick in $30,000, and they work with highly at-risk kids. Remember this? I'm looking at you, Nick, because I know you remember. Little controversy at the time, remember? So that agreement's up every year at this time. I spoke to the county. I spoke to Megan Lutz, and they're in agreement to provide the $30,000 to the district. 612 is for Head Start. It is for Best Self to do trauma-informed training. Dr. Lynette briefly, well, almost briefly went through that for you, and she talked about the trauma-informed training that's being done there, and that's what that resolution is for. Pardon me? Yes. That's what 612 is. 613 is our good friend Judith Mary Hines' resolution. This is for the May 19th election, right, Judith?
Gloria, it is, and I cannot wait to run another successful election.
Well, you've done very well so far. Let's not falter this time. Because I just saw Ruth Ellen. She looked really wonderful. I'm just teasing you, Judy. I pick on everybody, Judy. I'm an equal opportunity picker-oner. 614, here's something I need you to know. 614. Listen to this. I can't believe this, the time. 5 years ago, we purchased the Evolve walkthrough. I know. 4 years.
We're going to test those
Yes,
bill
yes.
stations and stuff, right?
4 years ago, we leased the Evolve walkthroughs at high school, Gaskill, and LaSalle. Remember that? It has been you got principals here, so they can attest or speak your mind. It has been a highly successful piece of equipment. We couldn't live without it. But on the first 6, Julie, on the first 6 machine, the lease is over. So we have to re-up the lease on those. I think it's 6 machines. We're getting brand new machines, Mr. Valero. Yep, with the upgraded software. The price has increased about $12,000 a machine, just in case you want to know comparatively.
$12,000 per machine?
Yeah. They're
Walk in the park.
Yeah, they're very expensive
What's
machines.
maybe we'll talk. Yeah, I'll catch up with you.
Yeah. But first of all, can you believe it was 4 years ago when we purchased those? Huh? Yeah. Pardon me, Nick? I think it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to pick on Russ, but I haven't picked on him in a while. He was 11 years ago when I started here. We got to get these. I fought him, and now we couldn't do without it. It's worth every dollar. It's worth every dime. It's worth every nickel. We couldn't have a toaster, but he wanted that. The point is, we're asking you to approve the repurchase of 6 new machines. That's what this resolution's for. 615. This is the brainchild of the stellar Mr. Macri. Mr. Macri has been looking into our planned services agreement on fire alarm systems and has noticed that, I'll let you talk about it a little bit, Mike, but we spent a lot of money on replacing smoke heads and equipment, and he did a great job negotiating a $12,000 amendment to the current contract with Johnson Controls for the remainder of this year to get full service review, training, parts on any smoke heads that break or are malfunctioning, and we have so many of them in the district that we thought this was we've spent a ton more money than that already on it, that for $12,000, we're going to come in with great savings. Mike, is that what your thinking was?
Yep, so currently we have what's called the enhanced coverage package. When Johnson Controls comes in and tests each system, they provide us with a deficiency report of bad pull stations, smoke heads, sounders, and we're tasked as the district to go out and try to service all of this. And it's very burdening, and the only time we're can do this is after hours when the kids aren't in session. We got to shut the fire alarm panels down and go through and service this. This updated coverage will authorize them to just make the repairs. They'll let me know what the deficiencies are, but they're going to go ahead, include it in this package, replace the smoke heads, pull stations right away as they're doing them, and that's what will be included on the cost, their labor, and a larger discount on any of the parts that they're going to be replacing. Currently, we get a 15% discount. They'll jump that to 20%, but it's really going to allow the district to be more in compliance when it comes to our regulations with all the smoke requirements and the requirements for like the New York State Education Department when we do our fire surveys, fire plans, and getting a certificate of occupancies. We're not going to have no outdated or outstanding deficiencies on our panels going forward with this package. And currently, we're already about $50,000 over our current package that we currently purchase already from them. And this will just speed the process up a lot quicker and lighten the workload on our electricians.
Right. Now we're taking electricians off. This is not to cut employment. This is just to be more efficient, and our electricians have enough work to do. This will free them up and allow Johnson Control to step in. And the only thing I insisted on was that I want immediate response, right, Mike?
Immediate response, and like throughout the nights, when we have a nuisance fire alarm will be tripped from a dirty smoke head, and our electricians will go out there, respond, bypass the system. Johnson Controls will come out and they'll update the system and fix the system. Dirty smoke heads, faulty equipment. A lot of times it's in the pool rooms because of the chlorine. They'll come out and they'll service that. Part of this package is included with it.
I'm convinced it's an efficient and cost-effective way to do it, and I trust Mike's recommendation. 616 and 617 are things that we do twice a year. Maria can speak to this a little bit. We do it at mid-year and we do it at the end of the year. These are when our district employees' vehicles are damaged through no fault of their own, unless they were doing yoga and eating F-bites on the first one. But these are after the deductible. Maria, can you talk about this? Because we've talked about this at the board level a couple of times.
Sure. So each of our collective bargaining agreements has a provision in it to assist our employees who have property damage claims while they're at work. The majority of them end up being vehicles, and these two in front of you are vehicles, but it could be any type of personal property that the employee has. The requirement is that we receive notice within a certain number of days, that a police report be filed, that we receive a copy of the invoice of repair, and that we also receive a copy of the insurance indicating what the deductible is. These two individuals have both provided that information. Both were vehicle property damage claims, and both are only going to be reimbursed up to the limits of their deductible.
I believe it's $500 and $200. Does that sound right?
Correct.
One is $500 and the other is $200, and these are in the contract.
Yes.
500.
5 and 2. Yeah. Okay. I want to tell you two things. One, we will be adding an additional resolution that we'll speak about next week in executive session. And number two, we are going to be adding a policy for the district safety plan that I'm going to ask you to table. We need to table it as a part of the Dacia's law and everything that we're doing. I want to put the policy out there. It's due at the end of January. I'd rather have it tabled and let any comments come forth, and we'll turn it in right after the February meeting. This was caused by a quirk in the law that made us do this more times than not. And I'm not blaming Dacia's law, but I'm telling you that's why we're a little bit off kilter in timing of it. So I'm going to add that policy. I don't foresee any other resolutions added. Of course, Maria will add some personnel. Showed you next week we start the budget. The meetings in February are, I can't believe it, we're talking about February, the 12th and the 26th. If it's all right with you, members of the board, I have a couple of announcements, and then I'll answer any questions, and we can adjourn if you would like. First of all, I want to emphasize something. It was really nice to have our Haudenosaunee team, our Native American students come before you, and I just love when students are here, and that's why it's just so wonderful to have Harjot here. And I mean, they're exceptional, and she's exceptional, and but I really like what they symbolized when they made that beautiful presentation. I just want to emphasize that again. What those 4 or 5 students from high school said through their culture was harmony, equity, peace, unity, and togetherness. Harmony, equity, peace, unity, and togetherness. So often we don't hear that. And here you have 4 beautiful students who say that in a presentation. Harmony, equity, peace, unity, and togetherness. Wouldn't that be nice for our world and our city? I just thought that so resonated with me in light of things that are occurring. Nonetheless, I want to congratulate we have 2 female hockey players that are in middle school. I think they're at your school, Idolo. You have nothing to do with their hockey skills, I can tell you that. But Maggie Adams and Ella Magnuson are two members of our first female Federation hockey team. Now, we only provided 2 students. We're on a combined Niagara County team. But I'm glad that we've got girls in hockey. And and despite their principal not knowing anything about hockey, the 2 girls have great parents who are doing really well in hockey. And I just thought it would be nice to mention 2 female hockey players. I think that's a great thing, and they're really, really good players. They're really good players. So congratulations, Maggie and Ella. We're proud of you. Speaking of LaSalle Prep, and Mr. Baldessari pointed this out, during the Bills game last week when they destroyed the Jets, I think Niagara Falls High School would have given the Bills a better game, and that's saying a lot. Josh Allen came off the field and put the hat on that the Children's Hospital kids designed. It was designed by a LaSalle prep student, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's Morgan Dale. And he put the hat on, and the person goes to LaSalle prep. I thought that was kind of cool. Thanks for. Pardon me? Is that how much they're selling it for? Yeah, look for a grant. All right. Yeah, look for a grant. I think since it's ladies' night.
Actually, you know something?
What?
That's a great idea, Idolo.
All right.
Hold on, no. You know what you should do? And I bet you can pull it off. Because if anybody can pull it off, it's you.
Thank you, Rob.
You should call New Era and have New Era see if they would gift a replica hat to the student that made it. To display it at LaSalle.
What about the LaSalle alumni that's very active out at
They're
the
great.
school? I mean, maybe they might take up donations and purchase that for the school and put it in a
Yeah.
trophy case.
I think you can
They'll get a Rick Manning hat.
You can get it for free.
I will work on that, Rob.
While you're at the Super Bowl. Talk
Rob.
to Roger Goodell.
Rob, let's go back to students. And it's ladies' student night, and of course, with all due respect and humbleness, Miss Villardo, your daughter, she's in ninth, right, Carmela? Carmela, ninth grade soccer player, New York State. I don't know, there's 635 schools in New York State. I don't even know how many kids are on a soccer team. 11, 12, 20. Her daughter, Carmela Villardo, ninth grader at Niagara Falls, fourth team All-State as a ninth grader. That's quite unbelievable. And I want to say Colette Printup, who is probably the best lacrosse player in New York State, by the way, was fifth team. So congratulations to you and to your daughter, and congratulations to Colette Printup, fifth team All-State. And I will say, for the record, all of the athletic talent and skill comes from her hard work and her mother. It has nothing to do with her father. Let's jump into a couple of young men. Cam Crumpler and Caden Fagan. We fought very hard last year, if you remember, for these two young men, to participate in the state wrestling tournament. You may remember that. They are so good that they were invited to the highly competitive Eastern States competition very soon. This is the toughest of the toughest competition and as a prelude to the state. So go Cam and go Caden. We're proud of you. We have a wonderful opportunity for Niagara Falls High School. 10 Niagara Falls High School students have been gifted a tuition-free ability through the Young Women's Empowerment Academy and Mona's House to visit Tanzania this summer. An all-expense-paid trip with students from Western New York to go to Tanzania, Africa. And they're going to take 10 Niagara Falls High School students because they know of our commitment to diversity and our commitment to having our kids explore the world. So I thank the Young Women's Empowerment Academy and Mona's House for sponsoring 10 Niagara Falls High School students. You have a nice mug there, courtesy of Booker Planning. Number 6, Say Yes Academy at Abbott. Get there this weekend. Ms. Tompkins promises it to be wonderful, and we're looking forward to that. And I wanted to say one final thing tonight, and I wanted to do it this week. I just want to say this is the last month and the last couple of meetings for Richard Angelo Corella. And I wanted to personally, I wanted to surprise him because he's the kind of guy that if he knows you're going to say something nice about him, he won't be there. So I just wanted to say that now with Rick's retirement, I will be the oldest staff member in the district. So I'm a little bit upset about that because Rick is 2 weeks older than me. But Rick, you really are. You really are one of, if not the best curriculum person in New York State. You really, really are. And I will tell you, your knowledge, your passion for curriculum and instruction is unparalleled. And I know my weaknesses, and I know that I couldn't have done anything that I did without somebody as strong as you leading curriculum and instruction. And I will always be grateful for your leadership in that area, your work in that area. I'm happy that you're retiring. You have really put this district on the perfect course in terms of curriculum. I don't care what anyone says. Your choices, your leadership, your decision-making, your thoughtfulness, your research in curriculum and assessment is unparalleled. And when there's new requirements coming out for the state, when there's new teacher evaluations, you are there first, and you know it. And I know these administrators that are here, and I know the administrators that are not here would never disagree. And nor would the teachers who really know what curriculum is about would disagree that there is no one who knows curriculum instruction like Rick Corella. And I am honored. And the great thing about Rick is you won't find two more opposite people than me and Rick. You will not find two more opposite people. And he lets me know it from time to time. But he always, always did the best and the right thing in leading us with curriculum and instruction and put us in a perfect place all the time. So Rick, I'm going to miss your snide remarks about me, your quips about me, your humor, your dark humor, but I am really going to miss, and this district is going to miss your leadership, both as a principal, which you were an excellent one at LaSalle and 60th Street and Gaskill, and I will forever grateful for what you've done for me and for this district. So congratulations. Thank you very much. You deserve it. And I know you're a humble, really, truly a humble, quiet person, unassuming person, don't want any of that. You deserve it, man. And I like what, because Rick and Maria and I like what they say. Maria says, I agree with you 60% of the time, right, Maria? Rick says, I agree with you 40% of the time. So between the two of them, they agreed with me 100% of the time, which was really nice. You put Rick and Maria together, and they always agree with me. That's what I like the best. That's what I like the best about Rick. He always gave me what he thought was the best thing to do, and he always respected the fact that I might not agree with him, but he was going to get behind and do the right thing. So I really mean that, Rick. You were a godsend to us. I appreciate you. Having said that, anything else? I got to go to New Era and get hats. What else do I got to do, Ralph? We will see. I have nothing else, sir.
Nothing else, huh? Okay. Let's, folks, on that note.